Everybody, this is going to be my third attempt at trying to record this. I hope this time I will get it. This journal is a part of a challenge swap on trashy and flowist junk journals. Our challenge was we had to send some supplies to our partner, and they sent us some supplies, and then we would make a journal using their supplies and adding in some of our own, but we had to use all of the things they sent us. So, anyway, I'll just go, as I go through, I'll just kind of show you, you know, what the parts were that my partner sent me. Okay, so she had sent me this little flower here, this one. And then I put this one on top, that was mine, and I put some little liquid pearls on it. And then there's burlap. My partner sent me this. My partner was Sharon Chase. And then I also put some gold toile there. Use that as the closure. Now Sharon, part of our challenge was to send some painted papers that we had made. This was some painted paper that Sharon made. I used it to cover a cover that I had made previously, but I just turned it inside out and used this to cover the front and back. Now it didn't quite stretch all the way around, so I did improvise and make this section here myself because I'm trying to make it match the rest, which I think it did pretty good. These are flowers that I made out of book pages, and they had the same colors, so I went ahead and just put them on here just to make it, you know, have a little bit of extra interest. I did make, or added, some little danglies on the side. There's some cubes of red and blue beads, a little owl, some other beads, and those hang off the sides. So let's go on the inside. One of the things we had to send was cards, 3 greeting cards. So I took this card. It actually opened this way, but I didn't like that way it opened, so I wanted it to open this way when you opened up the front cover. So I just kind of cut it in half and then repositioned it, you know, redid it so that it would open the way I wanted. I painted out all the interior of the card. I painted out everything I didn't want. And this was really the only inside part I left. So I made this is pattern paper that Sharon sent me, so I just made a frame, glued it on top of that paper. This is just a real pretty picture of mountains and a rainbow. One of the words that Sharon had sent me was paradise, but for some reason, we were supposed to send 20 phrases or words, and I had lost the word paradise, so I had to end up making my own word. This is the front of the card, and this was an envelope that I just folded and made into a pocket. One of the other things that we were supposed to do is have 3 magazine pages. Well, one of the magazine pages that Sharon sent me had some woven looked like woven bracelets. It was a picture of woven bracelets. So they look like feathers to me. So I took 4 of those from that page and made them into feathers. I used painted book pages on the back and just made 4 feathers out of them. And those go in that pocket. Then on this page, Sharon had sent me this embellishment. It's a sticky border. It's self-adhesive. So I used that on there. Since it's a little long for the page, so I just put the extra right here. Little picture of birds. This was my page, but I added these 2. On this page, there's a little snail on one of the envelopes I had. It said official snail mail. I cut off the word mail and just made it official snail. I colored him with colored pencils and went ahead and just glued him right here. This is a painted paper that I made on it's actually on a page out of a recipe book. I left it jaggedy, but I had torn it out. One of the words was up that she sent me, so I found this lady holding balloons, added this little flower that Sharon had sent me, and the little owl that she also sent me. This is a card. It was, I painted it out, and then just kind of rubbed some gold ink on the parts that were stamped like an embossed. This is some more of the bracelets that were with those first bracelets I made feathers of. Two of the words she sent was just coast, so I found a little girl walking on the beach, to the beach, and then a beach scene, so that made it just coast. I liked that. Still in the same card, these were some papers on the inside of the card, so I made tuck spots out of them. I stamped this because it matched really well the other parts of the card. 2 tags. Sharon sent this tag. She really did a beautiful job. Very detailed. Her tags are really wonderful. I love them. Then this was a tag that someone else had made. I think, I can't remember. Maybe CJ Mangione. I'm not sure. And then one of the words that Sharon had sent me was excellent, so I just added it to the tag. And I added some little fibers. Enjoy a little garden therapy. This was a magazine page I had, so I just kind of added that picture of a garden. I did a little bit of, doodling and enhancing with pens and the black pen and a black colored pencil. And then in the center, your dream home was some of the words she sent me. More of her paper that I used, and then just a picture of a really nice room. Little things I put on the ends of the thread that I sewed it in with. Here's the rest of the garden. Another bracelet. I just used it on the other side of the tuck spot here. Sharon had sent me these little mason jar die cuts, and so on this one I used some of her burlap, and then I put a vintage image on it. And then on the back says Groovy. She sent me these little stickers, little iridescent stickers. Added some fibers. And this was an envelope too. This was part of an envelope. A little embellished paper clip. Then Sharon sent me 2 of these, so I just stapled this one in as a tucks area. Here's her other mason jar tag. I did a little stamping, added this vintage picture, and part of her words, a spice of personality. Did some stamping. Here's the rest of the snail mail little thing that was on the envelope. Here's the mail from snail mail. And I just did some more colored pencil work on that. Added a vintage picture here. Here's some of my music paper. Now this signature is one I added in. What I did was I took it and I used this binding, seam binding, poked it up through the signature, came through the middle, and then with the ends that came out, I wrapped them around and tied it in. Then I glued it just to make it be more firm, just to make it, stick on the inside. I didn't want to try it out. I didn't want to try to sew it in because I think it would have been too hard to get it in between these two. And I didn't want to try it on either side. So anyway, I think it came out fine just the way it is. This was some of my paper, and I just added some tissue paper ruffle on it. This was a tag that Melody Huey made for me. I have several, so I thought I'd share just because they're so pretty. She does such a pretty job. This was an envelope that I had. Cut it and embellished it with some trim paper, some nice kind of clothy paper. This is an actual vintage child's cursive writing practice book page. This was just some lined paper from a ledger, and an old ledger I have, book paper, or a ledger book, and this is part of the paper. This is another flower I made. This was from a little paper bag I just cut out and glued on. Here's the center. Here's a little flip up. Oops, I was gluing it. Sorry about that. Here's a little embellished paper clip with a little envelope. This is my envelope, but inside I used some more of Sharon's papers. This is all her little paper she sent me, her words, Attention Grown-Ups. She sent me this shorthand page. I cut it. This is from an envelope, another one of her little stickers. There's the back of the envelope. Just more of her pattern paper, more of the shorthand. This was from a little note paper, and this came off an envelope too. So that goes in here. Anyway, more paper. Here's a envelope, stamping. This was a grungy tag I made. And this was this is a paper bag. This has just some little cards in it, little crochet flower. And this was a packaging, one of the packaging. We had to have 3 pieces of packaging that we sent to each other. And I used the actual, even the clear part of it, I put this little page she sent me as a big old telescope eye. Used the word focus that she sent me. On the other side was a water tower. Water tower, pride of place. And then on the tag, she had sent me this paper, so I used that on that part. And then on the other side of that paper, it's just a reverse of the colors. And these are all things that I cut out of an envelope that she sent me. On this piece of, like a little pizza die cut, she had written a note when she sent all of her things to me. So I used it as a tuck spot. This is from, I made an envelope of a magazine page she sent me that had a picture of this plant on it. So I just made an envelope. I used her words, were year after year. This was one of mine, inspire, year after year. And this was just a little, the postal, stamp that was canceled, postal stamp. On the inside, I just took the rest of her paper and her little note thing, and her word noteworthy, and then just added a pencil from my images. This paper is shoe polish dyed. A lot of it is shoe polish. One of the words she sent was spirit, and I found a picture of this little girl kind of leaning up against the Liberty Bell. Where to stay was some words that she sent me, and I just had this real cool picture of a house on a lake or the ocean. This is paper that I made out of, it's just on tracing paper, and I used shaving foam and food colors. This is some paper that Sharon sent me, so I made tuck pockets out of it. This is a tag I made, and this was just a little card I had, and I just stuck those in for her. She sent this music paper, Find Your Voice, with some of the words she sent. This is this little bag she sent to me. I ended up having to cut part of it off just because it was a little too long. Now this is one of Sharon's other tags she made. Just so detailed and so lovely. I just love them. They're really pretty. She had stuck them in with everything, so I'm assuming she wanted me to send them back. I was hoping to keep them, but you know. The bag had a kind of a torn spot here, so I just took a picture and magazine image and just glued it over it. She had sent me this magazine page with all these shells on it, and I loved the shape of it, so I just cut them out, fussy cut them, and made them like that. And then I glued a big, real pretty map piece on the back, and this has little stars on the end of its threads there. This was one of her packaging things that she sent, and her paper. So I made a little, kind of this little flip out card. This is napkin that has a coffee cup, and one of the things she sent was this little thing about coffee. And so I thought she'd get a kick out of that. And we close it, and this locks it closed. Oops, sorry, that's the wrong pocket. Goes in here. Okay, so then there's more of her music page. This is, she had sent the word styles, so I made it into a tab and used it for this. I had this little advertisement of shoes. They're pretty stylish, so I put them in there. And that goes in here, the other side of her paper, and I made it a tuck. Just added a magazine image, stamping, some images. This was a Melody Huey had sent me the actual original vintage invitation of this, and I just couldn't, I took a photocopy of it because I just didn't have the heart to put it in. One of the other words she had was cattails, so I found this picture of a kitty and a little mouse with his tail. It looks like he's getting ready to put the cat's tail in the mouse trap, so I thought that was kind of funny. So I did that. And these words, blast your body. And then in the back cover was the last card. I painted out everything I didn't want again on this card. Here's her other little card that she sent me, paw. With the paw, I glued it in, put her other little sticker on it. This was a real pretty little tag. I think C.J. Mangione or Audrey Averett made that. So we have a little doggy. This is also from that snail mail card or envelope. Open it up. Painted everything out that I didn't want, of course. These little houses were on Sharon's pattern paper. And what I did was I cut each one of them out and just made them a little darker. And then just, glued them around on the card. And then the last words, thank you. And that is Sharon's journal. Thanks for watching. Bye.